How can you get the most life out of your money? Yes, it's important to talk about investing. Yes, it's important to make sure you don't pay a dime more in taxes than you need to, but none of that matters if you don't have a successful life and if you don't have a vision of what that successful life sounds like for you. Now, I get it. I know that can sound woo-woo at times, but I promise here's why it's important. Too many people ask me, Ari, how do you recommend I invest this way based off of these things? How do you recommend I save on taxes looking at my return? Yes, that's important. Trust me, it is, and I love going through it, but it's also important to talk about exactly why we need to do it because that changes the recommendations. Why do we want to implement this conversion strategy? Is it because you want to retire earlier? How much do you want to spend? Let's pretend you're retired, and I'll tell clients, close your eyes. Imagine you never have to work ever again. What does your day look like? How much money do we really need? Is it what we expect? How do we think through that? That's what I'm going to be talking about today, the 5 key things to think about to organize and become successful in your financial life. My name is Ari Taublieb. I am a financial planner. I'm the vice president of Root Financial Partners, and I help people retire early. I want you to know, at a minimum, when you're in a position where work is now optional, where if you love doing it, great, keep working. But if you don't love doing it, you no longer need to. And so if you have a bad day at work, if you have a second thought, you don't have to go, oh my gosh, am I no longer in a position? Do I have to keep doing this? No, you have peace of mind because you have a plan. As always, I love helping people create their custom strategy, so feel free to reach out to myself. In the description below, you can see links to do that. If not, and you're just looking for more information, that's perfectly fine too. Please subscribe to the channel so you can be notified on more ways to save on taxes, invest, and so on. Number 1, I really want you to review your values. Once again, I know it sounds odd, but let's go through planning the way I think about it with clients so you can see how this can impact a greater financial life, which really is just a greater life. No one really cares about money. They care about what that money can create for them. And the last thing I want is for you to be working unnecessarily, for you to be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna need to have X number of dollars, therefore I gotta put off these things today. What if you didn't have to put off those things and you could still be on track? Would you say, yes, I still want to do it? Most people have anxiety because they don't know the reality of what they're doing today and how that impacts their future. They have a general sense, but they want to dial it in. So number 1, review your values. How much of your work does that impact your health? Which I know is a weird way of saying it, but I have clients who say, Ari, I'm making such great income. It's not fun, but I got to do it because I need this income. What if you didn't need that income? What if you could work a job that pays less, but you just enjoy it so much more, and therefore you yield a greater financial benefit because you're doing it for more years? Review your physical health outside of work. It is difficult to have that thing that you're going, you know what, every single day I'm going to go to the gym if you don't like doing it. I tell clients, don't go to the gym if you don't like doing it, but stay healthy somehow. Whether it's walking, whether it's hiking, whether it's, my mom goes on the trampoline. She goes and jumps on a trampoline, like many people would say, isn't that what little kids do? She loves doing it. She has a blast doing it. She talks to her sister while she's jumping on the trampoline. To me, that's success because she's found a way that gets her moving every day. It doesn't have to be traditional. She jumps on that trampoline like no one's watching, which is how everyone should, in my opinion. Check in with your faith and spiritual health goals. If you go to church, wonderful. Can you spend more time there? And if you weren't working today, could you spend more time? Would you want to? On the side of spiritual health, some of my clients say, Ari, I don't have religious beliefs that are strong, but I love my yoga community. Or you know what? I've went on Meetup and I found that I've been retired or I'm thinking about retirement and I've met up with like-minded people who want to do fun things and I see what that's going to cost. So yes, my brain goes to the financial implications, but also start practicing these things. What do you care about most? Relationships, freedom, independence. What do you value most? Is it saying, you know what, I'm going to put off every single nice possible thing I could buy because I'd rather be in the best position possible to never work again at age 35? I'm not saying that's you, it's not most people, but think about what the FIRE movement is. The FIRE movement, which I don't fully agree with, but I understand it, which there's a difference there as I see it, is agreeing with it is, yes, I fully believe in it. I don't fully believe in it, and here's why. The FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early, the whole idea is, can you work a job you don't love, but it pays a lot of money, and can you maybe even get 2 jobs where you're literally working mornings and nights ignoring health, ignoring relationships, ignoring all of that, with the sole idea being that you will then no longer have to work ever again for many, many years if you live frugally. Maybe not frugally, but you're in a position where you don't have to worry. And if that's you and you don't love it, it's not a terrible idea, but too many people will think, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need. And then all of a sudden they realize, oh my gosh, I'm retired. I no longer actually have hobbies. I'm in my 40s or 50s, and they don't know what they want to do with their time. So please know, when it comes to financial planning, it's not as if you have to save a crazy amount of dollars today to retire early. You can still retire early. Now you're going to need to save and invest more than the average person. Once again, I specialize in helping people retire early, so you do have to save and invest more because we need that money to last longer. But what if you didn't want to spend as much as your neighbor? Could you retire 10 years earlier and just not know it? Once again, that word retire, I don't even love. I love, when are you financially free? You no longer need to work because you have a plan that shows you what you're on track for. So that was a long way of number one, of reviewing your values. Number two is your goals, which are similar, but specific goals. I'm all about action goals. I want to have X number of dollars by this age. Great. I like that. I don't like that as much as, you know what, I want to check in every 3 years. Am I still happy at this job? Because the reality is, if you're watching this video, you're already financially minded in the sense of you're savvy to this stuff. You just want to know, am I doing everything possible? The number one reason when people reach out, if you're going to guess in your head, in fact, comment below. Tell me what you think the number one reason is why people reach out to a planner or someone other than managing their investments. The reality is, and I'm going to tell you it now, that they reach out because they go, I don't know what I don't know. I don't want to leave anything on the table. What am I missing? And so I'm going to tell you all of those things. It's investments, it's taxes, it's withdrawal strategy. All of these add more money to your bottom line, but connect to your goals. What people don't always talk about, which I emphasize, is how do you know if you need to stay in that job if you don't love it? If you do love it, great. Can you make sure that you don't have to do part-time income because you've done a great job saving and investing? If you don't love what you do, can you say, you know what, I'm only going to do it for a few more years, or I'm going to find something I love more and do that for longer because it's going to yield a greater financial benefit and you're preserving your health along the way. So write down your goals. Do you want to spend X number of dollars every single month? Is it $5,000 a month? Is it $7,000 a month? Is that before? Is that after taxes? Think about your legacy goals. What are your goals in terms of, is it leaving X number of dollars to children? Some of my clients want to leave $500,000 to each child. Other of my clients will say, you know what, Ari, it's less about a specific dollar amount and more about, I want them to be set up well. I want to make sure they're taken care of and I haven't missed something along the way. So create your goals, then go back to the financial part. Go, great, if I want to leave X number of dollars behind, here's what I need to do to make it happen. If I want to retire at this age, here's what I need to do to make it happen. Go through a planning process either with myself and my team or another advisor to find out how you can put yourself in the best position possible and remove the I don't know. A super quick story on this. The I don't know phase is the most dangerous phase. And what I mean by that is, I'm a semi-professional soccer player. I played soccer in college. Turned out I love the money side more, so I went into that side. But my brother is a professional soccer player. And he just loves soccer and he's going to play as long as he can, but he's had a ton of injuries. Now, please know that I've had injuries myself too, and they're not fun. I hope you have not had a ton of injuries. But if you have, the most dangerous part is the I don't know phase, at least for me mentally. When I hurt my hip flexor, I was not happy because I couldn't work out or play soccer, but I was also not happy because I knew that I didn't know how long I was going to be out right when I got hurt. As soon as I got an MRI, which is like a financial plan, even though please do not start comparing MRIs to financial plans, or I'll literally be deemed the most nerdy financial planner ever, is that my MRI told me my injury and it told me my rehab schedule, and I knew in 8 weeks I would be back. Before, it was, is it going to be a week? Is it a year? When am I going to play again? I was in the I don't know phase. That caused me to lose sleep, and that took up my headspace. All of our headspace is what's most valuable because that's what allows us to come up with new ideas or say, you know what, I thought of this new vacation I should go on with my family, or maybe that's not a great example because it's more spending. But once again, it is a good example. I'm going to go back on my comment right there. It is a good example because what if you could spend more on that vacation and you'd still be okay? Too many people literally oversave or don't take vacations that they otherwise could have because they said it's going to impact my latter years. They get to those latter years and they go, I wish I did more of these things. Now, the opposite's true. There are people who do too much of the opposite, where they spend a whole lot on the upfront and then all of a sudden later in life, they didn't have the ability to do these things because of those trade-offs. And it's never my job to tell you what to do or what not to. It's understanding the trade-offs, letting you see what do the numbers say. Number 3 is understand your cash flow. Money's going to come in, money's going to come out. That's what life's always going to do. Have a good sense of it. Okay, well, how can you do that, Ari? It's not super concrete advice right there. No, it's not. Here's what you do. Is you automate it. For example, have your Roth IRA contributions going monthly. Have your 401k contributions set up monthly. Don't think about those things. Don't try to time the market. It's about time in the market, not timing the market. Your cash flow is king. You might have heard of that before. Cash flow is king, and getting a good sense of how much money is left over every single month through budgeting software like Mint, through Right Capital, through Personal Capital. These great apps can really help you get a sense of what is cash flow like. Is there a certain amount that tends to be left over each month? Does it get spent? Are you using sinking funds? For example, I want to spend about call it $6,000 a year every year on travel. I like to go to soccer games. I'm a big Premier League fan, so I want to fly to England and watch soccer games. Other than that, I'll do a few small trips here and there with my partner. So now I want $6,000 a year. But I don't like just taking that from normal cash flow, so I save $500 a month specifically to a vacation fund because it allows me to spend the money guilt-free. I know it could have gone other places. I know it's all lumped in together, but it helps my brain with mental accounting. Number 4, know your numbers in the sense of what is in your IRA today? What is in your Roth IRA today? And are those growing in a way that supports your goals? Because if you're scared of the market and you go, Ari, I've heard you talk about it, but I'm just scared. I don't know what to do. Everything's in cash. And let's assume you have $1 million. Well, if that's the case, okay, but you told me your goal is to retire early. So now your investments aren't reflected what your goals are saying. Now, sometimes that's the opposite, where people say, Ari, I have no intention of ever retiring and I'm invested super aggressively. Well, that's okay if that's the intent. Just make sure that your investments are allocated for your goals. Lastly, make the adjustments today. It's common to want to put off some of these decisions because it's intimidating. Think about what short-term adjustments can you do. Can you automate your investments? Number 1. Can you get the 401k going? Can you get the Roth IRA going on a consistent schedule? Can you also say, you know what, I'm going to allocate X number of dollars every year for a charity, and I'm going to have that automated. I'm going to automate the part of my life that I can so that my life is better. My partner, she loves going to the grocery store, so she does not want to automate us going to the grocery store, which is extremely reasonable. Now, if I lived on my own, I'd probably have groceries delivered, but I don't. And I'm okay with that. I like going to the grocery store with her. However, I don't like doing my laundry, and our laundry in our unit isn't the greatest. We've had some issues, water stuff. That could be a whole nother YouTube video. I won't bore you with that. My point is, now that that's happening, the water situation, I don't want to have to deal with laundry, so I pay for a service, and I love paying for it because it gives me more time, and that's what I want at the end of the day. So once again, that is what I want to go through on the short-term side. On the long-term side, get a good understanding of how much money you'll need to retire. Don't go with an exact dollar amount. If you see an article that says you need $1 million to retire, you don't know how much they want to spend. You don't know if they have rental income. You don't know if they have a pension or Social Security or inheritance. So it's not customized to you. Go through a planning process to get a good understanding, either with myself or another planner. If you see their YouTube videos or their podcast, that is a great way of getting a sense of what their planning process is like, who they are as a person. My job is not to have boring financial meetings with my clients. My job is to have exciting meetings that make them excited because we're talking about their life and how we can make it better. So at the end of the day, find someone who you resonate with, and that's not always easy. It's one of those things that I like YouTube videos and podcasts because people have hours and hours and hours to interview me. A super quick story. I know I keep saying super quick, but I had a client who recently told me, Ari, I used to have cable and my partner and I, we stopped to watch both your videos and we literally stopped our cable to watch YouTube videos on finance and other YouTube videos. You know, maximize your retirement, best countries to travel to. Not saying you have to do that, but please know that that told them that it was easier to make a decision to work with me. And I'm glad it was. They might be watching this right now, in which case I think you're in Portugal. I'm not going to say their names for security purposes, but I hope you're enjoying it there. The point of all of this is that you have time to find out who is the best fit for you, and there's no rush. Don't go into a decision because you need your finances optimized. Wait, don't rush into it in the sense of, do I mean, all my money's in cash today, or I don't know what to do tomorrow. A few weeks, a few months is not going to make or break things. Yes, it's going to change the overall value, but I'd rather you find that right person. And for you, it might not even be a person. I don't believe everyone needs an advisor. I believe an advisor can be helpful. However, I don't think everyone needs it, which is something everyone says who's in the advisor world. So I'm a little different. You've been watching this for some time. You probably know that, but that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you don't know, I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and this is what I love doing. I help people create a custom strategy to retire early. You can always reach out to me or a member of our team here at Root, and we would be happy to walk you through our planning process to show you how we can help you get more life out of your money.